You know, just keep going, keep pushing through, keep pivoting, and get your breakthrough. Get it. It's yours. Go get it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Barcast. I had like a really good saying. I'm gonna get it, like a good little like clever saying, but it'll happen. So,
Like
but
a
anyways,
tagline?
yeah, like a little tagline.
Yeah.
Something that's different than what I usually say. Welcome. This is our very first unique experience as far as the Barcast goes, in that we actually have a guest. We have Dorian Murphy here today, and this is going to be a new thing for you guys. You guys know that we've been talking to you guys about bringing guests on and talking about other entrepreneurial experiences and bringing you more inspiration and just kind of inspiring us too. And so, Dorian, welcome, man. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, before camera, and this is awesome. I'm really excited for it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Is your agent talking in your ear, telling you what to say?
I always forget that this thing is in my ear. I don't know. It might just be my thing now.
Yeah.
It could just be my
Get
thing.
the play caller in there. It's all good. But as you know, you've kind of seen what we do on the Barcast. We have our little toast, which I know that you have prepared for us today. Which, by the way, if you want to submit your own, go to #PeoplesToast on any social media. We'll go and find it, and you just might show up on the next one. But you're here because we're talking about your business, your journey as an entrepreneur, and where you are headed, where you came from, and all of that. So why don't you just kind of like talk a little bit about yourself and what you got going on?
Sure. Well, again, I'm Dorian Murphy, and I am a personal chef in the Baltimore area. I founded my personal chef company called Stephan, LLC, about in 2016.
Yeah.
And really, the idea is just to deliver fresh, healthy, and flavorful food to the masses, so to speak.
Awesome. So I want to ask you more questions about that. Before we do that, though, we do have our toast that we wanted to give off.
Yeah.
But part of the toast is our new whiskey of the week. So what do you got for us this week?
What do I got? This is gonna end badly, but Dorian, you up?
Oh,
Oh, dang it!
definitely ended badly.
Lift that up, Dorian. You're up.
Oh my God.
Edit.
That's so terrible.
All right. So what do we have this week? That. Yeah, get a straw and drink that. Drink that up.
That you did it.
It's a
You drink
travesty.
it up.
Yeah, your little baby book over there. How am I supposed to know? I can't even see it. So we have Sinatra Select Jack Daniels. I don't know why. I just thought this was time for us to break it out. We've been talking about it for a while.
We have been.
So this is in honor of Frank Sinatra. Let's get this bad boy. Yeah.
I'll get some B-roll on it.
Yeah, so this is cool. It has really cool details. So you can see
It's a beautiful bottle.
his little hat on it. The top actually
Nice.
is his hat as well. And so, Dorian, we've been talking about Sinatra Select, and I thought that our first guest would be an appropriate time for us to do that.
I like it. I'm good with that.
So there is a, you've mentioned the 100th century bottle. That is not what it is. There is a Sinatra 100th century bottle.
Oh, okay.
But this one was in honor of Sinatra. Jack Daniels played a special role in his life. Stories told, and there's actually a book inside the case, every case you get, that gives all these fun facts. So he was introduced to it by the famous entertainer Jackie Gleason. Kicked off on Jack, and from there, that's all he wrote, or that's all she wrote, as far as like just that being a part of his life. Every time he got off stage, there was a glass of Jack, and the way he drunk it was 2 fingers of whiskey, 3 to 4 ice cubes, and water, splash of water. So if you guys want to drink the Frank Sinatra way, that's how you do it. Another fun fact is he was buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Was he really?
Yeah. So that's how important. He created a club like all his buddies called the Jack Daniels Country Club.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it was
That's
like
pretty
pretty
awesome.
special clubs. I feel like it's relevant with the horse
Yeah.
model club.
We got to bring him back up. We got to dig him up. We need that bottle.
Yeah, I know. So with that said, we should see what this is all about.
Yep.
How are we going?
So, I think the guest gets the honors.
I would agree.
So we'll kick
agree.
we'll kick off with Dorian's toast first.
Okay. To playing with your food, even when she's around.
I love it. What you got? What's yours?
So, my toast was in honor of Dorien. So he has his company, I'm Chefin, or Chefin's the name of the company, right?
Yes.
The website's imchefin.com?
It sure
That's
is.
why I thought that. Okay. So Chefin. So I thought I needed to do something themed in his space. So my toast goes like this. Grilled asparagus and duck confit guaranteed to make stinky pee.
That's a good one. I like it. All right. Mine is in honor of the horse that we are in. And mine is, if I stumble out of this bar, I pray that it was worth the scar.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Nice.
It's not as
Sure you don't want water?
It's real easy to drink.
It's all coated up in there.
No, I'm good.
All
I'll
right.
savor that one. If you guys like those toasts, give us a thumbs up and comment below which one you thought was best. But we'll get to this week's People's Toast right now.
Christian and Brad, I spent a little bit of time, trying to think of a good toast. So, this comes from the heart. While this is not cognac or a glass of fine gin, here's a toast to you, two fine gentlemen. Cheers to your health and an abundance of wealth. Continue to help those that are in need. One Barcast, one drink, one joke at a time. Cheers to you, you two friends of mine. Whew! That was just actually some Canada's Dry plug.
So what do you guys think? Again, let us know. Give us a thumbs up. And if you think that you can do better than the toast that we're given today, go ahead and submit your own at #PeoplesToast on any of social media platform, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'll find it, and then you just might show up on the next People's Toast. Thank God I got through that.
Jesus.
So anyways, Dorian, so again, thank you for coming on today, and your toast is great. And so before we got to the toast, you're talking about your business, which is I'm Chefin. And I think it's a great business model. I think it's a great concept. So I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit and expand on that because you do like meal prepping, and then you also do like impersonal home chef type stuff. So it's a little bit of everything. And then I think if I recall, you were also talking about an app that it's surrounded around as well. So I want you to kind of talk about that process a little bit, how you got started.
So back in 2016, I worked at a hospital in DC, and a part of my job was to go up and do patient rounding, just like a doctor would.
Right.
But from a hospitality and culinary perspective, I'd ask questions about the food and whether or not the taste was to their palate or not. And of course, not everyone in the hospital can have everything. So usually, it's not salty enough, or
Right.
I wish this were fried, which is the reason that probably landed you in the hospital.
Or it's just hospital food, But everybody has that stigma with hospital.
Exactly. And so hospitals are going more towards the luxury hotel, in-room dining style model where we care about the food and we care about the delivery of the food and the service. And so that's how Chefin was started. It was started behind the idea that you can have flavorful food and you can have fresh food and it can be healthy all at the same time.
Gotcha. So, so how did you go from there to starting I'm Chefin?
So it actually happened in a good friend of mine's kitchen. We just started taking a bunch of photos for Instagram. At that point, sidebar, I hadn't been on Instagram really like anything. And so she was like, why don't you just take some photos or whatever? And we took a few really great ones that ended up being like the backdrop you see when you hit the website.
Yeah.
Fun fact, if you see a little knee in the back of the photo, that's my friend. It's her knee in the back. You'll never catch it, but it's her knee. But we started taking some photos, and I started cooking for family and friends, and they loved the food, and they would recommend me to their friends and friends of friends, and that's how chefing got started.
That's awesome, and I think it's something to say too, because you have 19,500 followers on Instagram too. So going from basically having nothing on IG, and now that you've grown it to this point, I think it's pretty incredible. And then you were talking earlier off camera that you kind of like haven't posted anything recently. So this is an even shorter period of time that you kind of like blew up on that platform.
I need to do better with posting consistently.
Yeah.
Off camera, I was editing a photo of some food I actually did with my girlfriend last night. She was really hungry, and I had some pasta available and some veggies. I'll post that today, actually, so you'll all see it. But it was really good. Rigatoni with vegetable ragu. Really tasty.
Now I want some.
But yeah, in terms of Instagram, like I grew that followership in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then
that's incredible.
And then from there, like really what kind of helped with that was just making sure I engaged with everyone as often and as frequently as I could. I set up a schedule.
And you would say that's probably key, right? Just engaging with everybody who engages with you.
Absolutely. It's a job.
Right.
It's a job. Replying back to every comment, posting consistently in the AM and the PM, making posts that are engaging, that make people want to organically comment back and organically want to follow you and ask questions and just be responsive. And that is what helped out with that.
So I think most people really want to understand like what you see as the keys, and I know you just mentioned a few. You know, the big benchmark is to hit 10K. What if you kind of gave people like a few pieces of advice on how to build their following and things you've seen based on the experiences you've had? What would you say for Instagram?
I would first say just be yourself and be authentic. Don't try to sell anything, right?
Yeah.
Just, post the things you love. I love food, so every time I would cook, I would post the food. And people would comment to that, and I would comment back, and it was more so like a conversation, like I was inviting a friend over to enjoy in this meal with me, and I think that is what had people kind of hooked.
Yeah. Well, so you mentioned schedule. Explain, like what specific part is your schedule? Content schedule or parts of the day that you're actually responding and checking your Instagram?
Both are really important, actually. So I like to post posts that kind of coincide with what people might have been doing at the time that are more relatable. So in the AM, I might post how I made this smoothie because people are making smoothies in the morning.
Right.
In the PM, I might post a cocktail that I made to go with this drink, or go with this food, or this amazing dish, or I might live how I went through the process of cooking some of it.
That's a great idea.
But
I didn't even think about that.
But depending on what people are doing, that's what you should post, because people are relating a little more to that because that's what they're doing at the time. But then the time of day is important. I found that that posts that are done between the 8 and 9 o'clock hour are they hit a little harder than those done after the 9 o'clock hour or before the 8 o'clock hour, because before 8 o'clock you're probably getting ready for work, and after 9 o'clock you're at work working.
Right.
So if you're on Instagram, maybe you shouldn't be.
Right.
And what about in the evening time? What were the times you found then?
Definitely posting during rush hour, so between 5 and 7, and 6 is sort of the sweet spot.
Yeah.
But between 5 and 7, at 5 o'clock you're looking to eat some dinner, or you're in the kitchen and you're cooking dinner, or you've just eaten dinner, and you're more likely to engage with that post a little better because that's what you've just done.
Gotcha.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's interesting. And for me, it's like I don't know. You found out how that would work specifically to your niche, and it makes sense as far as like eating schedules are concerned. So, I think if anybody's out there looking to start their own business and build a brand that way, then that definitely would be something to consider for sure.
Absolutely.
But tell me a little bit more about I'm Chefin, because I was on the website and I was like really interested in some of the stuff. So you provide like a meal prep service, but then there's like so much more than that. So I kind of wanted you to like elaborate a little bit. And how's that going as well? And kind of like let us know where you're at in that stage of your business.
Sure. So there are a few services that we provide at Chefin. We offer dinner parties. So we come into the home, we buy the food, we cook the food, we serve the food as if you were in a fine dining establishment, and then we clean up and then we get out of there. Really, there is nothing for the client to do but to enjoy the food and enjoy the party. We offer meal prep services, and it's amendable to your dietary needs or dietary restrictions. And there are a few packages available on the website. The most popular one is 15 meals for $125, and you get 5 different meals, 3 of each meal, and you can eat that for lunch, you can eat that for dinner. I've done breakfast meals as well, so you might eat 1 for breakfast, 1 for lunch, and 1 for dinner, 5 days a week. And then on the weekends, then you're kind of left to your own devices to do your own thing. And that has worked pretty well with some folks who I know who are trying to lose weight or who are trying to put on muscle. Yeah. And it just takes the culinary piece out of their weight loss journey or their fitness journey that they're going through. I
think it's cool because like it kind of takes out a lot of the guesswork.
Absolutely.
You're not sitting here trying to figure out what you need to be eating or what you need to be making, and obviously there's the time part of it too. It saves a lot of time. I gotta ask though, is there if you're going to somebody's house to like put together a meal, and like maybe they don't have like this state-of-the-art Viking stove they're used to like cooking on or whatever at the pantry. But do you run into challenges with that as far as that's concerned? Like maybe they don't have everything that you need right there at the house?
So in the very beginning stages of my doing this work, I would run into that, to that issue. But there are a couple things that I've uncovered. If you have the money to hire a personal chef, you generally have a decent kitchen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I bring my own tools with me. So, spatulas, pots, pans. The only thing that I ask, and I send out a equipment form to the client to get a better understanding of what they have on hand. So I do require that the china, glassware, and silverware be provided by the client.
Yeah.
But generally, if you are doing a party, you generally have about 8 pieces of each thing. If not, then we definitely work that out, and it's generally at no cost to the client because I have a small stockpile of china, glassware, and silverware at home.
Right.
But I ask these questions beforehand to avoid any hiccups that could happen, because the last thing you would want is for your chef to tell you, oh, I can't put this food out, or I can't do this thing or that thing, because you didn't have what you needed. You're not going to care because you paid me to come out and provide this experience.
What happened? So I'm curious because obviously this, like your first dinner party, did you proof of concept? Like, did you have like your friends together, or like the first client you got was your first run at it? Tell us about how you started it.
So I started it with a good friend of mine who lives in DC, and we would just invite mutual friends over to just eat casually, and that's how I proof of concepted it. Thankfully, I have a culinary degree, and my entire background is in food service and hospitality, so some of the hiccups that one without that kind of experience would have, I didn't have because I have the training to execute events like this, and I've been cooking at home all my life. So,
That's cool. One of the reasons why we started this Barcast was to provide an opportunity for us to discuss our entrepreneurial journey and to really like let people know that it's a lonely journey, but there are other people that are experiencing the same thing. So talk to us about, and maybe we can provide insight, maybe not, but like, how has your entrepreneurial journey been thus far? Like, talk about some of your challenges or ideas you're wrestling with as an entrepreneur.
Sure. So I found that in some instances it can be really lonely. but then again, not, because there are a number of chefs who are out there who are trying to do exactly what it is that I'm doing. So in forging that community, I speak with other chefs who I know in the industry, or people who I come across on Instagram or Facebook who ask questions, and then we just bounce ideas off of one another and provide feedback.
Yeah.
One thing that I found that I didn't think would be an actual thing is people are willing to provide feedback and to have questions answered as sort of a way of paying it forward, right? Because there's enough market out there for everyone. Just think of how many dinner parties you guys get invited to over the course of, a month or a few months.
None. Where are these dinner parties happening?
I don't know. You can invite me to one. The next one you go to, hit me up.
I'm going to invite you. I'm going to do one, and then you guys are invited.
I'd love to see one of these things.
You have to get your stats up.
Apparently, Dorian's getting invited all the time to dinner parties.
But they happen, and I know this because of the dinner parties that I sometimes have to turn down because I may not have enough team, or I may not have the availability to get to the party.
I'm sure holidays are really busy.
So busy.
Yeah.
So busy. This is my favorite time of year.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, this is my favorite time of year. It's a very lucrative time of year.
Yeah.
But to get into some hiccups that I sometimes run into, so we're here in Baltimore, and sometimes there's a lack of talent, the talent pool. Right?
Yeah.
So I may have a party who is this high-end exec for Exelon or something, but I've already committed and have already received payment for another party. Mm-hmm. So then I reach out to a chef cohort that I have, and they're either working or they're doing something else. And so I have to turn down business because I just don't have the talent there to execute. Or the talent that I do have to execute may not have that luxury level experience.
Yeah.
So some things that I might find that aren't acceptable, they might deem acceptable. And in terms of brand recognition and brand consistency,
right.
Sometimes it's not the best fit. So that's the challenge I'm running into here in this market. But as we get more folks coming out of the school, the culinary school, that are able to be kind of groomed from the ground up, and the connections with the luxury hotels in the area and kind of placing them there, they can get that exposure and that experience so that when they do come back around, it's ready to go. Pretty much developing the pipeline.
Yeah, and it's a challenge, right? But that's a good problem to have. That if you're backed up, essentially, you want to make sure that you're still scaling, but at the same time, at least you got people trying to beat your door down, so it means that you got a good product going on. Now, one thing that Christian and I always kind of talk about is building our business and competing on relationships. And I think that one of the most intimate things you could do is go into somebody's home and, cook for them. Or even if it's just a meal prep thing, there's still a way that you connect with that person through food. Is there a different element to, competing on that relationship from the culinary side than maybe your traditional, just everyday business?
I feel like it would be easier, right?
Yeah. Or do you find it more challenging?
I think it's a bit easier because my competition isn't necessarily the other personal chef down the street.
Right.
Because we're kind of collaborating together, which takes me to the app, which we'll probably get into a little later. But my bigger competition is the restaurants and the hotels in the area, because they have more of a stakeholder brand recognition, because they have a brick and mortar, they have a sign that they're a flag that they're waving in the air.
Right.
And so the way I kind of combat or break down that barrier to entry is saying, listen, I don't have food and beverage minimums that the hotel or that the restaurant might have, but I have all of the same access that they have.
Right.
I have all of the same credentials that they have. So myself and my team of chefs are all Serve Safe certified, and that is a major thing in the industry.
Right.
And that really goes into food service compliance and healthy, safe and healthy ways to create food to ensure that people don't get sick. I also am insured. So I can go into your house and burn it down and we can build you a brand new house. I would never, ever, ever, I would never do that. I have not done that in the past 4 years. But we're insured with a multi-million-dollar general liability policy, just in case there are anything that happens. So those are the ways I break down the barriers to entry. And then, you're in your space. So you don't have to worry about, well, does the restaurant have the table count that I need? I have a 15 top. Are they able to accommodate me? Will we be accommodated at 2 separate tables and split the party up? Don't have to worry about that because we're in your space.
Well, that's cool. And what comes to mind for me is, like, I'm thinking about if I owned your company, I'd be loving it because I think this point in time in our industry is perfect for what you're doing. Because I talked about it with my clients. To me, where the industry is really going is this immersive experience, this catered experience, and it's a sensory experience. So, like, if you've, I talk about, I think I told you about Never Eat Alone in New York, where it's a play, but you're a part of the play. Okay. And so, like, you're literally walking through a building and an actor will grab you, and it's like Shakespeare, and they'll like recite lines to you, but you'll just walk around, and it's no longer you sit back and you're passive. And I think that for hospitality, at least my clients, I'm trying to find ways for them to think about, how do I create an active, immersive experience where it's engaging all of the senses? And food is an incredible way to do it. So I think that, coupled with people are going away from like the big brands. They want to find something that's unique that most people can't offer. So you have an opportunity there, I would imagine.
Absolutely, it's a big opportunity too, because what thing can you do that's more Instagrammable than a curated experience in your own space?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's been another pretty big way I was able to grow on Insta, is because I travel out to where you are. I did a photo shoot in New York. I wasn't in the photo shoot, and the food wasn't in the photo shoot. They were doing it in Brooklyn, and they needed a caterer at that point to come out and provide food. But once I got there and I had all the equipment and everything, I'm like, why don't we just do this table? Why don't we sit down at this table and like make it an experience? And they absolutely love that.
Do you do any sort of themed dinners where you might do a wine pairing or a whiskey tasting, anything like that?
Just for future reference.
Yeah. He'll do a cigar dinner.
That's right, yeah.
It's a good future reference. Absolutely. I just did a 10-course, more of a tapa style plated dinner for 10 people. Think of all the china that went in to do that.
Yeah.
But I've just done that where we paired different wines with each course and coursed it out, and it was an amazing experience. They absolutely loved it.
That's awesome.
Have you ever thought about, like, I guess what your success looks like? Like, are you in it right now? Do you consider yourself successful, or is there some sort of top of the mountain for you as far as where you want to get to and where you kind of see the end goal at?
So I am not successful right now. I'll be the first to say that. Just because, so the goal of mine is really to connect chefs to the end user, to the person who wants to have the event.
Right.
And the best way to do that is with like the Uber model, right? Mm-hmm. You go to an app, click it, you find out who wants what, you pair the right person with that, and then you do that. And so I'm in the tail end of developing the Stephan app, which will allow the end user to click a button and dispatch out the kind of chef or hospitality professional they need, whether it's a pastry chef or an executive chef or a bartender or a som. The app will allow you to be able to do that and kind of curate your own parties just through your phone.
That's, I think that's going to be a game changer, honestly, because there's so many people around here, and myself included, that would totally hit that up, especially from the meal prep side for me personally. Trying to think of a time that I could actually set aside to cook meals for the entire week for myself is just a huge chore. So if I could have somebody do it for me, I know a lot of people that would take advantage of that. And just like the whole personal experience. I've never even thought about having a chef,
Yeah.
in my home, and it's affordable. What you bring to the table, no pun intended, it's an affordable, like, attainable service. It's not like it used to be back in the day where it was just for the privileged, but you're kind of bringing it for the middle class people as well. And so I think that you're really onto something for sure. So I wouldn't.
So I would say, to kind of wrap it up,
Yeah.
so for our entrepreneurs out there, what words of wisdom, advice, things you wish you had known would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
What I would say, I've been thinking on this for a minute. And the one thing I reduce it down to is to keep going. There will be times where you'll feel that it's not worth it anymore. Maybe you're not bringing in the revenues you want. Maybe the clients aren't knocking down your door like you want. But when you stop is where it all ends. Just keep going, keep pushing through, keep pivoting, and get your breakthrough. Get it. It's yours. Go get it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think that's great, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on and letting us letting us. What did I want to say?
You had it.
I know. But thanks for coming on and being our first guest. I certainly appreciate it, and I think we're only going to get better from this as we go. But I think it was a good one. I think if you guys liked it as well, give us a thumbs up, and make sure to go follow Dorien. What's your Instagram again?
You can follow me at Dorian Murphy on Instagram. That's Dorien Murphy, like Eddie and Charlie. Pretty simple.
All right, guys.
Same thing on Facebook.
All right, cool, awesome. Well, yeah, go follow him. Go check out imchefin.com. And thanks again, guys, for tuning in. As always, I'll see y'all before the bell. And B. Smith is out. I can't even get over here. See you guys.